All right, I want to welcome everybody to our first attempt at this here. We're gonna do plenty of these this up for the remainder of this year. I'm joined today by Mike Sykes, as always. You know he's the guinea
Hey,
pig every time we try something.
every time. Willingly, though.
Yeah,
Willingly.
yeah, willingly the guinea pig. He has about as much of a life as I do, except I'm old. I don't know what his excuse is.
I don't have one.
See, I was trying to let you save yourself, but you won't.
Nope.
Um,
I don't even need to.
Fair enough. All right. Well, today we're gonna talk. First, let's talk about your Wizards tonight. It was a big win for the Wizards. Well, any win's a big win. Um,
18. Wait,
uh,
19.
Either way, what was impressive was the job that you guys did on Kyle Lowry and Rudy Gay. You took them completely out this game, and the Raptors pretty much relied on DeMar DeRozan, and he couldn't do it by himself.
I'm not really surprised by that. I mean, the Wizards have been pretty good, well, great defensively all season. It was actually kind of weird to me at the beginning of the season when they were 10th in defensive efficiency, but I mean, now I'm pretty much used to it. They have a top 10 defensive league. It's been top 5 since John Wall has returned to the game for the Wizards, but their offense is at the bottom of the league. So, I mean, that would explain why they're so bad. Even with John Wall in the game, their offense is still terrible. It's only they only score 100 points per 100 possessions with Wall in the game, and with the way that he shot, the way the Wizards have shot as a whole in the past 3 games, I suspect that probably went down again. So,
I
I mean
mean,
that's my main concern
I mean,
with
I'm
this.
I'm still gonna be impressed by the defensive side of things. I mean, you got to think about the Knicks couldn't slow him down.
Yeah, I mean, but
Toronto's been pretty hot as of late.
yeah, definitely. I mean, and the way that the latter half of the season has kind of gone for the Wizards, it's pretty encouraging. And a lot of that has been about the defense and not only the offensive jump that John Wall is giving the Wizards. I think it's more about the defense, actually, than John Wall. But they just won 3 straight. They've won, 9 out of the last 10, I want to say.
Hmm.
I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. But it's something like that. They won 3 straight. No, it's 7 out of the last 10. Okay. Well, 7 of the last 9. It's pretty good, either way you want to put it. So, I mean, it's really encouraging going into next season. And I'm already in next season as a Wizards fan, but I
Already?
mean, I'm
What you mean?
satisfied.
What you mean already? Like you got to be excited. At least watch this. Like I'm not gonna lie. Ever since Wars come back, I've at least kept tabs on what's going on, just purely to watch what might be one of the NBA's most exciting backcourts for years to come.
I mean, I'm pretty excited about him and Bill as a combination, but at the same time, I'm really tired of rough coaching. I mean, that's basically it. Like every time I get something back, and I get something taken away. Whitman, he was okay early in the season. I wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
I mean, we were all. We're look as
No, he
far as
wasn't.
season standards go,
No, he
he
wasn't.
was okay.
All right, look,
But then,
he was okay early in the season because there was no John Wall.
yeah, exactly. But now that John Wall's back, I mean, there's a lot of expectation for him, and there's been a. I mean, it's been really up and down with John Wall, and I think that's because of Whitman. Like people are like, John Wall isn't getting to the rim; he's only shooting jump shots, and that's why he's shooting horribly. Yeah, that's totally true, but he's not even being put in a position where he can get to the rim and get to the rim cleanly. If you follow me on Twitter, you see me complain about him not getting foul calls all the time, and that is a thing. But that's not the most important thing because you're not going to get foul calls every time you go to the rim. But to get those foul calls, you need a better offensive scheme that promotes spacing. There's literally 2 other Wizards within 5 feet of the paint.
I was about to say
Every
three.
time we'll
I was about to
lose.
say three. I think one of the funniest tweets I saw tonight, I retweeted, was someone tweeted that the Wizards' offense is the exact opposite of the Spurs.
It really is. It's the complete opposite. I mean, everything that the Spurs do is about the players that they have. Nothing that the Wizards do. It's about players in the business had. Omega Okafor had 12 shots in the first half. That's ridiculous. I mean, since when is he an offensive savant?
You know what? I'm gonna say this. I don't think the 12 shots is what's bad. What's bad to me is where the 12 shots were taken. If they had been like, if it had been like 12 shots off of pick and rolls, I probably would have complained.
Yeah, that would be fine. That would be fine. But he's catching it in the post and holding it and dribbling and then shooting a hook shot every time.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not the coach. I don't have an answer for you. I don't really know. But tonight was a good win. And you know, one thing I've liked, you're just not going to take that off.
It wasn't because I mean, you can't play what is probably your best player, at least one of your best three players, only less than 25 minutes a game. I mean, AJ Price played almost the entire fourth quarter. Almost the entire fourth quarter. And he's one of the worst players in the league.
He was killing.
He played almost the entire fourth quarter. It took, what? I don't even, you know what? I'm not going to count the minutes. I'm just not. Because it's just going to make me angry. It's going to make me angry.
But nah, he did get heavy tick. And I don't really understand it. You and I were just talking about before we hit record about Mr. Whitman's rotations. You know, you took a shot at, you know, me and my Bobcats, and all I simply said was, at least I know when Dunlap gets talent, he'll know how to keep his rotations in check.
I mean, okay. That's totally fair. And, I mean, his rotations have been awful all season long. And we have this thing called Randy Whitman's doghouse where, you know, Whitman just puts a certain player on the end of the bench and does not play him. Like, Jordan Crawford was the last player in the doghouse. He's gone now. So I guess maybe John Wall can replace him.
Well, why not replace an arbitrary player on your team with your franchise player in the doghouse? I mean, that makes sense, right?
You got me. I don't know. I would have fired him after tonight. I made that decision in the middle of the third quarter.
I don't know, but I mean, I know they're going into a big year next year with you know, Wall is going to be Wall's third year or fourth? Fourth. Well, I'm not counting this one because of the injury, so third for me, but really it's fourth. And, you know, that is going to be a big part of things. You need to see where he's going. Obviously, we've seen the growth in Beal, but something has to get better. And I hope that John Wall isn't lost due to the horrible coaching that is here.
I mean, I'm going to put it this way. For the past 3 years, John Wall has had one legitimate offseason on an NBA franchise. I mean, you can't count the lockout season.
Right.
He spent what was the first part of this year and the end of the off season this year rehabbing, and he was doing that for 2-3 months.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then he has this coaching staff which really has one or two good coaches on it. So, and the head coach is not one of them. I have to put that out there, but they have one or two good coaches. So I can't really see. I see exactly why Wall has not really improved vastly year to year. Right. It takes a lot more than one player and a few coaches to improve. And I mean, he just hasn't really had a support system or the proper support system, in my opinion, to grow as a player.
Well, I think that is perfectly fair. And we're going to leave the Wizards alone for this evening, for the most part, and we're going to move on to our next subject. Welcome back. The next topic we have up to discuss this evening was everyone heard about, you know, amnesty that. That's all I saw the other day all across Twitter was hashtag amnesty this. So, was it a bad joke by Mark Cuban? Was there some merit actually to what he said? Or, I mean, how did you take it? Because a lot of people just went crazy. They heard Kobe Bryant amnesty. No, you can't do those things. You can't say that ever. I mean, no.
Cuban came out today and kind of clarified his comments. He said it was only a hypothetical or whatever. But, I mean, I think it's something that you actually have to think about at some point because you're going to be so far in over the tax. The luxury tax cap is at 70 .03 million or something like that. It's some crazy number, but it's somewhere between 70 and 71 million dollars, and the Lakers are at like 100. So I mean, they really have to they have to think about making some type of salary positive move.
So they're just a smidgen over the top, just a little bit over the top. Huh?
You have to be fiscally responsible if
Do
you're the
you?
Lakers right now.
It's LA. Do you have to be fiscally responsible?
I mean, you have to because they're going to be. It's the dollar for dollar thing is going to be gone after this season, and they're going to end up paying like 80 million in the tax next season, and that's like paying a whole nother roster. So I mean, you're basically paying double the amount for each player that you add, and you really like for what their record is right now.
That's not worth it.
That's not smart. I mean, you're paying for a losing team, and you're paying out of pocket, basically, which is not smart at all.
That's even worse.
I mean, you can. I don't think they'd ever amnesty Kobe because I mean, one, the fan feedback is going to be atrocious for them. They'll never hear the end of it. I mean, Kobe's done. He's won 5 championships with the Lakers. A lot of people regard him as the best Laker ever, and you really can't you can't just amnesty Kobe. That's so it's weird. It's like Cuban said, he would never amnesty Dirk because of what Dirk has done for his organization, and that's understandable. The Mavericks have their only championship with Dirk, so I mean, that's totally fine. But I mean, he's not getting paid $30.2 million after the season. Kobe is going to be the highest paid player in the league next season, and he is not the top player in the league. So I think that's a problem. And then you have to factor in what they're going to do with Dwight Howard. After that, he's probably going to make somewhere around the same figure that he's making this season, but it's going to be over an extended period of time. It's kind of you can live with that because in like 2 years or so, their cap is going to go down, and Pau Gasol is going to be gone. So that's another player you're not really paying. Steve Nash may retire within the next year or two. So I mean, it's going to go down, but I just think that that's a lot of money to be paying, especially for next season. If Kobe wasn't playing like an MVP this season, he'd probably be out, I think.
Do you think that then what he said about amnesty wouldn't have been as ridiculous and far out the world if he wasn't playing to this level?
Right. If he wasn't playing like he was yesterday, it would be over for him as a Laker. He'd probably be like a Bull or something crazy.
That would go over well with Chicago. Wow. Real well. Next topic, and so fair to say, I think when Cuban said that, it was just he was just looking at it from a numbers point of view and nothing else, and it just got taken a little bit out of proportion because obviously no one in their right mind is LA is going to amnesty Kobe Bean Bryant. It's just not going to happen.
It would be really cool if they did that, and then he went to play for the Clippers. That would be great.
Well, that'd be probably the type of thing that he'd do if hypothetically, if someone was crazy enough to cut him, he'd probably either go to the Clippers or the Dallas Mavericks out of spite. Just out of spite. But
Kobe would probably be like a top 5 favorite player of mine of all time after that.
That's why everything's hypothetical. And I'm just going to leave. I'm not even going to jump into that conversation with you. You're all by yourself. I want no parts of it.